Now we are live on YouTube. Just let me confirm. Yes. Uh, one second. Yes. I think we are here live on YouTube. And I hope sir आप like मेरी आवाज आ रही है आपको?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Let's just see. There are people joining in. जैसे जैसे मैं ज्वाइन करेंगे मैं कमेंट्स उनके पढ़ते जाऊंगा. Just let's wait for a few minutes before we start.
Oh,
I think audience को हमने messages ये किए हैं. They're just
definitely.
joining in. Okay, let me. Until then, मैं थोड़ा music play कर देता हूँ to lighten the mood.
Yeah.
अरे आप लोग को बात करना है.
Two people have joined us. Wonderful.
Hmm. Yeah, they're asking
Yes.
to start.
Yeah. अच्छा comments में. One
Yeah.
second. Let me see. Yeah, we are starting, guys. Just give us a minute's time. And in fact, all those who are joining us, type a P in the comment box. Like अपनी present mark करो फटाफट, so that हम start कर पाए. Yes. Let me see. Live chat मुझे भी दिख रहा है. Yes. Oh, अच्छा अभी दिख रहा है मुझे. Start please. Okay. हाँ दिख रहा
Yeah.
है मुझे live chat. Yes. So please mark your presentees in the chat. Type a P in the comment box. Please tell. Okay. एक और comment आया है. Please tell when is the plotter blocks gonna launch. Yes. Okay. Plotter blocks will take some time. Plotter blocks is still in a little R&D, like research and development. It will take some time, but we are actually launching some other blocks this thing, so you can check out them as well. Yeah, hi. Neil Shah is present. Hi. Neil Shah ने literally अपना नाम ही लिख दिया present mark
Yeah.
करने के लिए. So Neil, we can see. Hi Neil. Just give us a minute. Yes. So yeah, hello. Hitesh is saying hello. Yeah, hi Hitesh. Great. Great. Okay, so before we start, I think just let's introduce Amit sir also. Amit sir, already I hope you guys can see Amit sir and hear him also. Amit sir, can you say something before we start?
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Amit.
Yes. So Amit sir is here, and I'm actually, very proud to introduce Amit sir because he's from our own research and development team, and all the interactions which we have been doing about the Kickball challenge and many other projects, it's been actually super fun to interact with him, and I'm actually, sir का time निकालना is a very difficult task, but I have convinced him to come to the session and share his knowledge with you all. Yes. So just to introduce Amit sir. So Amit sir is the senior manager and content and technology at Witblox, and he has several years of experience of not just research and development, but also he's a fantastic teacher and a mentor to all of us at Witblox. In fact, I would like to tell you guys, like we have such a great bonding, like interactions इतने deep level के होते हैं that you guys we would love to really share some of those interactions. In fact, आज सुबह ही we were talking about the kickball challenge, like that
Yes.
1-2 sentences went on to so much depth and so many ideas, so many new ideas came out. Yeah. So I think it's a pleasure, and it's a very good pleasure to have you, Amit sir, today. I hope you're as excited as
Definitely.
us about the kickball challenge, sir.
It's going to be a great session.
Yes. So today, so just to set the agenda for people who are joining on the call, Just a second. Yeah,
Okay.
hi. So just to set the agenda. So last week, I think we also did a similar kind of live for the Kickball challenge. And for people who are joining in live, on the YouTube. So how many of you all have seen the challenge till now? Who all have seen the challenge? You can type a yes in the chat box. And who are yet to see, just type I want to see it. So we can put up the challenge also if you guys have not seen it yet. Wait a second.
One wrote
Okay, we
everyone
are
has seen
waiting
the
for
challenge.
you. Okay, I think he's saying hello everyone. Good evening everyone. Yeah, hi Krish.
Okay.
Hi Krish. Hello. Neil is saying I have seen. Okay. So for the benefit of people who may not have seen it, I think there might be some people who have not seen it. Just for their benefit, let's play the video once again before we start with the session, so that
Yeah.
everybody is on the
So
same
that they
page.
are aware of what we are actually talking about.
Yes, correct. So just let me turn on the video. Yes, just give me a second. Live. Okay. And Amit sir, please help me whether the audio is coming or not. That would be
Yeah, you're
helpful.
audible. You're audible.
Yes. So I've shared the video screen. I hope you're able to see it, everyone. Just type a yes or no in the chat box. Wait a second. Yes. The 1 second.
Yeah, even
The
parents are
program.
joining in. It's a good thing.
Yes. Parents are also joining in. Yes. So 1 second. Just let me try to get the video.
No, that's not
So
a
what I will do?
parent. That's a grandparent. It's a grandparent.
Oh, wow.
Bought robotics kit for my 10-year-old granddaughter.
Nice. That's actually cool.
We are engaging with multiple
Um,
generations of makers.
we are getting multiple generations together.
Yeah.
Yes. So, 1 second. I'm actually, so YouTube, I'll need some help. Let me see. Or what we can do, we can actually play the challenge video from my device only. To Amit sir.
Okay.
Someone is saying to Amit sir. Yes, there are two separate Amit sirs, Neil, in our this
Yeah.
thing. Yes. Um, can I'll just ask my team if someone is able to is if everybody is able to see my shared screen or not. Just give me a second.
Okay.
Yes. Is the screen visible from YouTube? Just let me check with my team once. Okay, I have shared it. Okay. I think I need to enable it. Yes. Now is the screen visible on YouTube? Yes or no? I think there's a little lag also in the feed in the live feed, so that might be a problem. But I can see that the screen is visible. Just if
The
someone
lag
can
is fine.
confirm.
The lag is fine because whoever is listening it with the lag is listening it for the first time as well. So that won't be an issue, I guess.
Yeah, now I can see the YouTube feedback on my device, and now the tab is set up. Okay, let's just confirm for the audio once.
Hmm.
Is the audio coming?
Yes, yes.
Yes or no?
Are you
For
asking
the
about the YouTube video audio?
hi YouTube video audio. Yes.
No, there's no audio for the YouTube video.
Okay. Let me stop sharing it. I think I'll try to share it from this thing. Technical issues. Just give us a second, guys. So what I will do is I'll actually try to download it and play it from my own device only. Just give us a second for that. Yes, the video is downloaded. Great. Let me try sharing that screen. Yes, now I have downloaded it. I'm sharing my screen from the thing. Just a second. VLC, yeah. Is the VLC screen visible? Is my the thing video screen visible?
Not yet.
I think it should be enabled from my laptop. 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, it's visible. Let's see if it is audible or not.
Yes, I'm trying to play the video. Just let's confirm. Is there an audio? Is there an audio from the device?
No,
Yes or
no,
no?
there's no audio.
The screen is visible, but the audio is coming. Acha. Um. Okay, that's a weird problem. Let me try to mute myself and let's see if that helps.
Okay.
उसमें मैसेज कर सकते हैं सर इंटरनली सर
तो बात तो डायरेक्ट हो रही है.
उसको बोलिए कि लेटेस्ट एक्सप्लेन
Yes, the video is the video's audio is not coming, I think. Let me see what we can do. So
So you're already
in the
aware
chat
about the
we
challenge entirely, right? So let's just play the audio
yes.
video without the audio, and you can explain along with the video.
Yes, I can do that. And there are some interesting comments coming. I am from India. Someone is from Japan, I guess. I am from Japan. Hi. We have international audience also. Okay, so let's go for the this video and then we'll continue the chat.
Yes.
Yes. Let me play that video for you guys. Yes. So it's not a football challenge, guys, just to clear. Yes. So as I think the visual shows, it is a line follower robot. Okay. So it's not like you have to make a very complicated robot. It's a line follower robot. The experiment and how to do it is already covered in the Witblox app. Okay. And just you've added a kicking mechanism to the robot. Okay. Let's go forward. Yes. So the objective is to kick two color balls, which are separate. So there's orange colored balls and there's a pink colored ball. And the arrangement, if you see, it is in this way. The arrangement is in this way that two balls of similar color are placed in one row and one ball is placed in the other row. Okay. And same is for the pink balls as well. Yes. So the video clip which you saw right now, that is the basic objective of this challenge, that you should build a robot, a line follower robot, which would be able to kick the balls of this cup in the limited or least amount of time. Okay, that is the challenge for you guys. And I think now we explain the field also. So let's go to that.
People have already started asking interesting questions. Someone has asked, can I make it using Bluetooth? Only the kicking mechanism.
Yes, definitely you can. The kicking mechanism, you can use Bluetooth for that. Yes, that's definitely possible. So this is the field, quick explanation, 2 meter long field for the line follower robot. And there are 6 cups facing each other at a distance of 10 centimeter from the line. From the starting line, 2 cups are placed at a distance of 60 centimeter. Yes, again, this is self-explanatory.
Okay.
So they should be placed in this order:
Hmm.
orange, 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 and pink, pink, pink. Okay, so that is the order that you need to follow. Yes, and the video mentions that you should kick only one color at a time. So if you're going for orange colored balls, then you should only go for orange colored balls first, and then you should go for the pink colored balls. Okay, so that is the objective. And let me go to the, yeah. So if you kick the other colored ball by mistake also, 10-second penalty will be added, and you have to place the ball again. Okay, so that's done. Yeah. Yeah, for the kicking mechanism, so it's a simple explanation. So either you can use a sensor based mechanism. So a sensor based mechanism can be used, or a remote control mechanism can also be used. It can be TX-RX also, or it could be Wi-Fi also, I guess. Yeah. So that is overall explanation of what we wanted to do. And now we'll come on to the prizes also. Next. Yes. So all you need to do is, build this project, upload its video, and share it on the app. And once it's done, you can get 1,000 Bitcoins for just making the project. Okay, that's what I'm sharing. And the next part, I'll show you a visual. I have a good visual for you to have a look. Just let me show it from Canva. Just a second. Hmm, presentable. Yes, I'm sharing a Canva screen, sir. Just hold on. Okay, so now Canva screen is ready. Yes. Hmm. Just let me enable the Canva screen. Yeah. So many people may have the question, what can I win with the kickball challenge? So here is the visual for that. Okay. So here are the prizes. You can win an AI chat box, which will help you talk to AI. Okay. So that is one of the grand prizes of this challenge. Okay. And this prize is for the app submissions, one for the best design and one for the most number of likes on the Witblox app. Okay. And then comes the special part, the Witblox challenge ka competition. Okay. And for this, there are 3 main cash prizes of first prize is 3,000, the second prize is 2,000, and third prize is 1,000 rupees. And this time we have kept a special initiative that the more the number of people, the prize money will increase. Okay, so people who are joining us on the live, do tell more and more of your friends so that the prize money which you can take home gets bigger and bigger. Okay, so more people participating in a challenge, more reward. Okay, so that is the mechanism for the competition. Okay, so do tell your friends about it and help them build it, because together you can win bigger rewards.
So
Okay.
is it like if just I participate and win first prize, I'll get 3,000, and if I
Huh?
convince my 10 friends and
Huh?
then win, I might end up winning 5,000.
Yes, although that amount we'll inform you what the amount is, but yes, that's a mechanism. Yes, so more the number of people, the prize money keeps on increasing.
That's a great way. That's a great
Yes.
way to ask people to come and join as many
Yes.
quantity as possible. True.
Yes, correct. Yeah, that's actually that's really true. Yes. So do share it with your friends, guys, and jaldi tell them to participate because I mean today is July 1st, so only 15 days are left. To participate in the challenge and come to the competition. So be ready with your friends' submissions also, and let's go. Okay, so now we'll come to today's session and actually come to the crux of why we are doing this session today. Just hold on for a second. Yes. So in fact, the motive of the session also was, so I was talking to many makers. So just to tell you also, Amit sir, I was talking to many makers from the community. So I think the line follower robot was like not the very difficult part for them, but I think many of them were actually trying to think how could they improve their robot or how could they better their robot, and they needed certain guidance on that. So like they were actually thinking, should I add more sensors, should I add like more outputs, maybe like I can add two servos. So actually last time one idea was being discussed in the last time's meetup, that can I add more servos to make the job easier, or can I add more sensors to make the job easier. So that is why, audience, we have Amit sir here today with us, and we'll be actually discussing on some of those points for today. And so what the way we'll do it, I have certain points and I have certain questions which I'll be talking to with Amit sir about. If you have certain questions or if any question comes up to your mind, you can type that in the chat live. You don't need to wait for us to answer it. So you can type it out live, and what we'll do in about 10-15 minutes, we'll take a section for the audience question also, and at the end also we'll be taking a section for audience questions specifically. So all the questions will be answered there, that's for sure. But if any interesting question comes up during the discussion only, we can answer it right away. Does that make
Definitely.
sense? Yeah. Okay. So yes. So now getting back to the point of the session. So line follower robots, right? So I think one key component of the kickball challenge is a line follower robot. So for today's session, we'll be discussing on advanced line follower. So how you can make a line follower robot which can actually do better. Okay, better in terms of speed, better in terms of accuracy, better in terms of timing also, right? So that is what we are trying to go for. But before we go to that, and we have Amit sir also here with us today for his stories. So Amit sir, can you, so line follower robot, I think we being engineers, me and you also, so line follower robot is a common like a very, in fact in my time though, it was like the very cool thing to do, like line follower bana liya to like wow, like I mean you've done it, like you've really done it.
Yeah.
So when you made your first line follower robot, can you tell us like how was your experience regarding that line follower?
See, I passed out in 2007. So back then,
Mm-hmm.
uh, line followers were not that much in fashion. They were not trending back then because embedded
Uh-huh.
programming in itself was quite complicated back then. Everything used to be in assembly language, and that wasn't an easy task back then. But with the
Mm-hmm.
availability of Arduino and graphical programming interface, it has become very easy for users to, for makers especially, to use and interact with directly with the hardware. So a robot is the physical equipment that you have written, but building the logic is far more
Yes.
important than writing the code, because till you have the logic, you cannot use any
Mm.
programming language or its syntax to convert that logic in the form of a code. So the logic of
Yes.
line follower itself is not at all complicated if you understand how you are going to detect the line.
Yes.
Okay, so
Correct.
line is something, when we are saying line follower, we are not specifically saying a black line follower. Okay,
Exactly.
so that is the first
Exactly.
thing that you
Yes.
need to understand. A line can be of any color, and that plays a very important part in deciding what type of sensor you want to use. Okay, so and the second most important criteria is where is the arena. If the arena is
Hmm.
indoors but dimly lit, then you are going to use a different type of sensor with a different type of calibration and sensitivity. And if the event is outdoors, let's say there's a line follower competition that is held outdoors, where there's ample
Mm-hmm.
amount of sunlight and infrared and all external ambient light is too much, then you are going to use a different type of sensor with a different type of sensitivity. Okay, now
Correct.
the second,
Yes.
the way
Correct.
line sensor works is entirely based on reflection. Okay, whether you are
Yes.
using infrared light or you are using visible light. Now, I don't know, most of the students that I have interacted in last 10-15 years, they mostly use infrared sensors, but that is not necessary at all. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my first line follower was way back in 2008, and I used white light LEDs and LDRs. So
Should I try to share the video, sir?
definitely,
You
definitely,
had
yeah.
sent
Once you play the
one
video, it
second.
will become amply clear what it looks like and how it used to be back in the days. And there is
Yes.
no programming in this. Once you play the video, I'll explain it.
Yes. Just a second. Um yeah. Now it's visible to the YouTube audience also. I've made it full screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the line is in
Um,
the form of that black arc
color
made
tape.
by the
Yes.
black electrical tape, and the robot uses
Yes.
4 transistors, 2 relays, 2 LDRs, and 2 white light LEDs. So these are used for controlling 2 DC
Nice.
motors. Now, if you take a closer
Okay.
look at the video, you'll see that there is 2 white LEDs glowing in front of the robot. There are 2 wheels on the other
Correct.
side, and the third support point, which nowadays students are used to connecting a caster wheel, that is just a screw. The third point of contact is just the screw. So here we are seeing
Hmm.
2 white light LEDs on either side of the black line. So
Correct.
these are working as what you use now as IR LEDs, and instead of the IR sensors, I had used 2 LDRs.
Correct. Should I play some section again if you need it?
Yeah, you can play, and you can pause it, and then I'll explain that particular section.
Yes. Yes. So maybe I'll just forward it. Yeah. I'm on the section where it is taking a turn now. I hope you can see it on the
Yes,
screen also.
yes, yeah. Uh, Navigate it a bit forward.
Yeah, it was a. You're talking about the lights working as IR.
No, not as IR, just when that is visible. Yeah. Now
Let me
pause
see.
it. Pause it. Yeah.
Yes.
Now put it to full screen.
1 second. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've made it full screen.
Can you zoom in now? Is there any possibility of zooming in?
Zooming in. I think no, zooming in is
That's
not
okay.
allowed by.
That's all right. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. So from here you can clearly see that there are two set of LEDs. So one on either side of the line. The type of line follower uh, most of the students make, they don't use 2 sensors. Okay, they just use 1 sensor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the
Okay.
difference between using 2 sensors and 1 sensor is that if you are using 1 sensor, your robot will never stop. There is no stop condition for such a setting. If you are using
Right.
2 sensors, you can get into a stop condition when both the sensors are on black. So let's say you have drawn a line, it is in the form of an S or the letter 8, number 8.
Hmm.
So whenever your robot reaches the middle junction, the cross of the 8, it will stop.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Or
Hmm.
let's say you have drawn an S in the form of a letter S, and
Huh.
at the end of that track, you have drawn a horizontal black strip in the form of a T junction.
Mm-hmm.
So that will cause the robot to stop because both the sensors are on black now.
Okay. So whenever both of them will essentially sense black, that is the time the robot will stop. That is what you're saying.
Because when you're using 2 line sensors,
Hmm.
uh, every sensor connecting is controlling one motor. So when there is no line,
Correct.
yeah. So when there is no line,
Yes.
it is considered as 1, that keeps the motor on. When there is line, it is
Correct.
considered as 0, and that makes the motor off. So when you draw the
Okay.
truth table for
Correct.
both the motors, you get 0 0 as stop, 1 1 as forward, 1 0 as left
Correct.
turn, and 0 1 as right turn.
Right turn. Okay. So four motions which are needed, like forward, stop,
Yes.
left, right, are covered. I
Yes.
think,
Forward,
but
left, right, stop.
yeah,
Yeah.
forward, stop, left, and right.
Yes.
I think, but I think one key aspect. I stopped sharing that screen.
Yeah. That's
But I think one key aspect I would like to highlight. I mean, the times we have come from and the robots that I think are still being made. They, I think, especially for a beginner, like people who are just starting out in their school or something like that, I think that can get very intimidating sometimes, right? I think they have to, think about a breadboard. They have to think about
Definitely. Right
wires.
now, you get ready-made sensor modules. All you need to do, put male, female wires that you need to connect. The robot that you have seen, to make that
Correct.
like 40, 50 seconds video, I toiled for 3 days. I
My
toiled
God.
for 3 days on a small piece of breadboard. It took me 3 days to make that entire thing work, just for a 40, 50 second video. Things have become far better now. And with the introduction of Witblox
Yes.
modules, we can do it even faster these days.
Correct. So in fact, I was actually just interacting, I think last week or something. I was just interacting with this 7-year-old and we had called him for an online exhibition. And I was surprised to see he had actually chosen to make a line follower robot. And I was surprised and I was very happy to see that he had not just made a line follower, just which will follow a very simple track. In fact, he had actually made a full track with not just black color road, but even white color road, where he had made a complex track of white plus black, and it was working properly. I
Yes.
mean, with the help of Witblox and a special road he had made. The video, I don't have it on YouTube right now. I don't have it on my device, but I definitely share it on our channels. But I mean, now even with the help of Witblox, even 7-year-olds are, touching and interacting with these kind of ideas. So I think that is the cool part, because earlier they should tell that by tumhe, like you have to learn a lot. You have to learn breadboard, coding, blah blah blah, etc. etc. to just make this simple idea. That's actually kind of very sad, and I'm very happy that Witblox is enabling this kind of thing. So I think now coming on to the point, I think which you touched upon, using a two sensor based robot.
Yes.
So do you think do you think it's possible with Witblox, like a two sensor wala line follower? And what should students do what should makers do in order to make something like that?
To make it's very easy. What you
So
are doing right,
if you,
what it is doing,
yeah,
how they are using one sensor to control one motor. Correct.
correct.
That's the only thing they have to do it twice. Two sensors controlling two motors.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, one sensor for one motor, is that what you're?
So you have two distance sensors working as line sensors, and two motor driver blocks along with BO motors. That's all. But the difference is,
Okay.
now understand why it is becoming faster, why is it becoming better. When you use one sensor, now remember, we are calculating time. So let's say you have a 2-meter stretch, the type of stretch that you have in your challenge right now. You have a 2-meter stretch, whether it is in the form of a curve or a straight line. To go from one end to the other, a very small amount of time is actually spent in moving straight, and a large amount of that time is used in moving around. That is because of the zigzag motion.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say
Correct.
overall you're taking 20 seconds to run that 2 meters. More than 50% of your time is getting wasted in moving when your robot is not on the line. If you're able to reduce that time, you'll reduce the total duration taken to cover the distance.
So you're trying to highlight the zigzag wala thing which happens, and that takes.
What I'm saying is, if you're able to reduce the amount of distance to which it moves away from the line, you can reduce the duration it takes to cover the entire length of the line.
Nice. So I think so. What you're highlighting is that so basically two sensors will help with a significant time difference because they are focused on like following. I mean, they're focused more on going straighter as compared to the one sensor one, which just
Yes.
does that
So
zigzag thing.
with, let's say, if I'm trying to explain it using geometry, with one sensor, let's say if you are deviating 20 to 45 degrees, with two sensors, you will be deviating 10 to 15 degrees away from the line, something like that.
Nice,
So the lesser you
nice.
deviate, the more time you are spending
Hmm.
on the line moving
Ah,
forward, and that reduces the overall time period when you are covering the same amount of distance. Now,
correct.
understand how these two scenarios are different, because uh, a normal user, what they don't realize is that they are not actually making a line follower. They are observing the
Mm-hmm.
behavior that it is following a line. The sensor itself is
Mm-hmm.
not detecting a line, it is detecting a junction between more reflective and less reflective surface.
Ah,
Right?
in concept, yes,
Yes,
yes.
because that is how the sensor is detecting the where the white part ends and where the black part begins. Okay, now if you want to verify this, what you can do, you can make a big feng shui logo that has
Mm-hmm.
a slight S type curve. On one half it is entirely black, on the other half it is entirely white,
Right.
and you
Huh.
put a line follower robot on it, it will work fine.
Yes.
There is no
Yes.
line. There is a junction drawn
Yes.
between black and white, and
Correct.
your line for
Correct.
work absolutely fine. So the sensor is not actually detecting a line in case of one sensor line follower. It is just detecting a junction, a separation,
Junction.
demarcation between more reflecting and less reflecting surface.
Yes.
Okay, and
But I think this.
in case of two sensors, remember
Huh. Go ahead.
the ideal
Huh. Huh.
condition is when the line is between these two sensors.
Okay. So the sensors are placed like sideways, and the line is in the middle
In
or something
between,
like that.
yes.
Okay. Nice. So there are some interesting comments also coming.
Yes, questions are
Someone
popping
is
up now.
saying that the best is three sensors. Neil Shah is saying. Someone is saying I have tried making the line follower without Witblox many times, but I failed. Yes, Shweta. So I think that is why you can definitely consider something like Witblox
Yeah.
because you can build the logic also and make it working also in like less than half an hour. Okay, so that is why I think that will be an advantage. But sir, coming on to the point, I think which you highlighted,
Hmm.
so the time difference part is definitely there. I think as you definitely told.
Yes.
But now my question comes. I think I'm asking on behalf of the Witblox makers also. Is it suitable for the challenge? Because I mean, at the end of the day, because hum bana rahe, we are making it for the challenge
Hmm.
only. So is it two sensor robot? Is it suitable for the challenge?
No.
Yes or
No.
no? Why not? Can you elaborate on that?
See, remember the truth table that I've mentioned. When you're using two sensors,
Yes.
you get 0, 0 for stop,
Mm-hmm.
1, 1 for straight, that is forward,
Correct.
0, 1 for left, and 1,
Correct.
0 for right.
Right.
Okay. Imagine a scenario. You have placed your robot on the line using two sensors. Your robot is a two sensor line follower. You have placed it on the line.
Mm-hmm.
It has reached the end of line. The moment it reaches the end
Okay.
of line, both the sensors are on
Huh.
white.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Both the sensors are on white. Now, for white,
Hmm.
we have 1, 1. So, what does our
Huh.
truth table say? It says if you have 1, 1, the
Forward.
robot has to move forward. So, the moment the
Yes.
robot reaches the end of line, instead of taking a turn around, it will keep
Huh.
moving forward and it will leave the arena.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So basically, it will not stop, not try to take a turn because it doesn't know that. I mean, it's
Yes.
supposed to kind
At
of
the end
take a
of that
turn.
2 meter line, if you put a horizontal piece of black tape, if you put a T junction, the robot will
Hmm.
stop. This is
Okay.
not what the challenge is about. The robot has to turn back and do the next set of things that it has to do while coming back.
Yes. So I think two rules are being highlighted. That one is your robot has to actually take a turn also,
Yes.
or the minimum is that you don't touch the robot and it comes back to hit back the other balls. So two sets of rules. I think
Yes,
you're
because
trying to highlight at. Yes.
Yeah, to be very clear, your starting and ending zone is the exactly same.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because your starting and
Correct.
ending zone is exactly the same. So there
Correct.
is no stopping at the other side of the line. You have to go, traverse the entire length of the line, turn, whether it's a
Hmm.
left turn or a right turn, take a turn,
Hmm.
come back, and
Ah.
then your the challenge is done.
Perfect. So I think, so just to summarize it for the audience again, so two sensor line followers are actually advantageous in the manner that zigzag pattern is removed. That is why some time is saved in the traversing of the line.
A lot of time is saved. A lot of time is saved. But
Huh.
when I say a lot of time is saved, you have to keep in mind how you are setting the sensitivity, the thumb wheel on the distance sensor that you have for adjusting the range or sensitivity of that. That
Huh,
plays
huh,
a
huh.
very, very crucial role. If you have made
Yes.
it less sensitive, your deviation is still way too much. You have to
Oh.
adjust the sensitivity exactly so that
Huh, huh.
the robot does not deviate too much.
From the path. Okay.
Because the principle
That's.
of fast line following is still the same, whether you are using two sensors or one sensor. The amount of
Mhm.
deviation time has to be minimized.
So I think this one insight, the amount of deviation time has to be minimized. I think we'll put it we'll put it just as a poster also for the challenge. That is what we need. That is what the makers need to work on. That तुम्हारा deviation कम होगा, so I think you will automatically get benefited in the speed. And but at the same time, also informing them that two sensor solution is not an ideal solution because it will not take a turn back and it will instead keep on going forward. That's
Not
also.
for our challenge.
Yes.
Definitely not for our challenge.
Great. So I think this now gets me to the point that okay, so now okay, two sensor one is not exactly suitable. So can we look at even like more advanced one? Maybe can we introduce like a three sensor one, I guess, or maybe something like an Arduino plus one or two or three sensor one. So can you throw some light on that? Like is that suitable or is that useful? Something like
See,
that.
number of sensors and whether you want to use Arduino or not is entirely dependent on the application, the ultimate objective.
Mm-hmm.
For the challenge, I don't think you can achieve it with Arduino. No, definitely no doubt in that. You can achieve it with the Arduino.
Uh-huh.
But understand that Arduino is adding an amount of delay in between.
Okay.
How? Now let's talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
how
yes.
Arduino is adding a certain level of delay.
Correct.
You have the sensor, you have the motor driver.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Whether you are using Witblox motor driver, Witblox sensor or not,
Mm-hmm.
irrespective of that, you have the sensor as input and the motor driver as output.
Correct.
When we are not using an Arduino,
Mm-hmm.
signal from the sensor goes directly to the motor driver
Without any lag.
without any lag.
Yes.
Okay, that lag might be in milliseconds
Mm-hmm.
or maybe nanoseconds, but there is some amount of lag when you are Arduino in between. Because what Arduino code is
Okay.
doing, it is taking input,
Uh,
running your code, and then deciding what to do with the motor driver.
okay. So the processing is actually causing the delay, like the
Yes,
input, taking the input and
yes,
then doing something with the output.
yes.
Okay. And how much
And
of
that
delay
entire
can?
stage is absent. That entire stage is absent when you're not using an Arduino.
Oh, that's again an interesting point because actually some of the discussions in the last meetup were around that. Okay, can we add a Arduino to the this thing to help our cause or not? So I think so. Now my question being very specific, how much of a delay does it add? Does it add a delay with every this thing, every cycle the code is run, or like how is it basically?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Because any embedded code, any code that an Arduino, once it reaches the last statement, it goes back to the first statement.
Correct.
Right. So
Yes, void
let's say
loop. Yes,
when any Arduino in general, it has a 16 megahertz crystal. So we are 16
yes.
million instructions per second. So
Uh-huh.
in a gist, you can say that every time that code runs, that
Hmm.
amount of delay gets added.
Okay, got it. I
Okay.
think over and above the delay you're. Hello, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so over and above, I think as a practice, programmers even add a delay so that they can see the output getting processed or they can realize what is happening. So I think even that gets,
The
I
delay
think,
that you talking about the user defined delay. That delay is part of the code. That delay is part of the code, so that the user or the observer gets some time to see the difference. Now, let's say you have taken an LED and you want it to blink.
Yes.
Okay. Now, human definition of blinking is turning it on and off in a particular pattern, right?
Yes.
That is the only way we are going to call it blinking LED.
Correct.
Now, if I increase the if I reduce the delay, if I reduce the amount of time for which it remains on, anything more than 22 hertz appears continuous to us. That is the simple property of persistence of vision. So if I put anything that is less than that, the LED appears continuously glowing to me, maybe with a slightly reduced light, reduced intensity, but it will appear continuous to me, I mean, as a human.
Correct.
So you are having a code that is working for a blinking LED, but since you have kept the delay way too small, it appears to be on continuously.
Correct.
So the same thing is true for motor. What you are doing with LED's brightness, in case of that, the same thing you are doing with the motor speed control.
Exactly.
Lesser the delay, faster the motor. But remember, if your motor is rated at 150 RPM, no amount of code, no level of code complexity, nothing is going to make it work faster than 150 RPM. You can always reduce it from the rated RPM. You cannot increase the rated RPM.
Like we cannot, what do you call it? Like in processor language, they say, no, we cannot overclock it. It can only run up to that limit. That's what you're saying, right?
Exactly. Remember, overclocking, continuous overclocking damages the processor. So continuous over voltage for the motor is going to damage the motor.
Got it. So I think someone has a doubt. 1 second and see.
Someone asked, in 3-sensor car, robot will move forward when the middle sensor is on the black. Both motors work.
So he's, I think, referring to, so there is, I think, one Arduino based 3-sensor video. I think he's referring to that, where 2 sensors are on the side to detect any curvatures or this thing. And the middle sensor is for the continuous part detection. So basically, I think he's referring to that video. It's not a question. I think he's saying that is possible, I think. Okay.
Because the middle sensor is on black, both motor work. Okay.
Yeah, it's not, I think, asking a question. Just let me have a look at the chat. Yeah, only the plastic ball knocking system. Creative Tech has asked, I think, this question. So only the plastic ball knocking system is Bluetooth. Can it be that? I think is what he's trying to ask. It can be a Bluetooth based mechanism also. All we need is the line follower mechanism should be there for the working of the robot, and for kicking of the ball, it can be anything, but it should be the color code should be followed. That's all we emphasize on.
Yeah, now, while looking at the video, I got one more question. Is there any penalty point when you are kicking the cup along with the ball, or you have to kick just the ball?
That's an interesting one. In fact, we thought of adding a penalty for that also. But I think when we actually were trying this experiment, if they kick the cup incorrectly, and especially this will happen, I think, if people are trying to kick the ball like this, like they're trying to kick it inwards, for example. So what may happen, or in fact, sometimes unluckily, it may happen with the other direction also. The cup, I think, instead of we adding a penalty, if the cup falls in the path of the line follower, I think that itself may, obstruct and cause time delay, because if it in any way falls in front of the robot will get slowed. One, that's definitely there, and sometimes it may even get off from the track also, probably because the cup is kind of like obstructing the car to go forward.
Yeah, that's a possible scenario. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So I think, I think that's a good point that you highlight. But I think they'll have to practice not knocking the cup off. So they'll have to, I think, adjust the height of the kicking mechanism in that way. So that's definitely there.
So as far as Witblox challenge is concerned, there's no penalty. But if you get into proper, big competitions where there are dedicated pedestals for the balls, When you knock
Yes.
off the pedestal, you get a penalty for that. Either it is in terms of times or in terms of points.
There are penalties for those kind of things also, right? So I think now coming on to the next part of the discussion. So as a Witblox maker, how like so now we talked about two sensor based line followers, and now we also talked about Arduino and maybe one, two, or three sensor based line followers. Now my question being, now line follower has already been made, let's say in some way. Now how can they look at improving that line follower? Let's say in terms of time. So I think first, I think in terms of time, what else they can do? The zigzag part is clearly as an insight. What else can they think about when they're trying to, let's say reduce the time, for example?
So see, whenever, because if your ultimate goal is to cover that distance in the minimum possible time.
Yes.
Okay, no matter what methodology you use, what technique you use, that is the ultimate
Huh.
goal. Cover the
Correct.
same distance in minimum
Hmm.
possible time.
Yes.
Correct. So you can do it in two different ways. Faster motors,
Mm-hmm.
high speed sensors. Now, high speed sensor, there is no such thing as a high speed sensor. Your
Uh-huh.
normal infrared sensor that you are using, whether it is the distance sensor or the normal IR sensor that are available in the market, high speed sensors are the ones which you can modify. Take a normal infrared sensor, for example. If you are
Mm-hmm.
able to reduce ambient infrared content, that is false trigger.
Okay. Huh.
The
You mean
proper
like
word
the external
the proper
lights, for
word for that
example?
is called shielding.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible. I was actually saying that ambient light basically mean that sunlight and all should be reduced in like it should not be allowed to come in contact with the room,
Yes.
right?
Now, see, if you are doing it in an arena, it becomes very difficult to reduce the amount of sunlight that is entering the arena. Is Are we still live? I am getting notifications.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Acha, I think there was a slight internet issue, but now I think we are back. Just let me
We are
check
live, right?
on. Yeah, we are live. We are live.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying something about how to improve the timing. We were talking about that.
Yes. Yes.
So
Now,
can
see,
you elaborate?
the normal thing that we do is we adjust the thumb wheel, whether it is in the form of a preset or potentiometer or some form of variable resistor that helps
Hmm.
us increasing and decreasing the sensitivity or the range of our sensor. Okay, that becomes a real big issue when there is lot of ambient light, whether it is in the
Right.
form of visible light or infrared light, because the infrared sensor, the black sensor on the distance sensor or the any sensor that is available in the market, that
Hmm.
sensor itself, the component itself, is not able to distinguish whether that infrared is coming from sunlight or from the adjacent IR LED. Okay, so that causes a lot of
Correct.
false triggering. So uh, a better way of using the same sensor with higher precision is shielding
Hmm.
the sensor, the black component, which is already done with Witblox distance sensors.
Distance sensors.
So there's a
Yes.
slight rubber sleeve, a shrinkable sleeve on top of our uh, distance sensor,
Correct.
the black component part. So what this
Yes.
does, this physically restricts, or I should rather say, this optically restricts from ambient infrared to get inside the sensor by creating the sensor component itself. So
Correct.
if you are using a normal IR sensor that is available in the market, most of them
Hmm.
don't have the shielding. Witblox
Correct.
distance sensor, if you are using, it has the shielding, so it has a far lesser chance of getting into false triggering compared to a commercial infrared sensor that is available in your shop.
Right. In fact, I have seen, and when I was interacting with a few of my students, I think like they were trying out some other sensors, and like they were
Yes,
also realizing that the shielding was not there because of which this thing was
yes.
getting affected. There are two interesting questions. Let me get them on the screen. So one is, can please tell us more on the Pan India competition? So Neil, what we are going to do? So basically, we have a very strong Witblox community all over India, and I think you've seen this in IRC, as you've seen this in various events. So makers from all over India can and will be participating in the events, which will be coming for the challenge, and they will be there for the competition as well. As I think you may have seen in some of our previous competitions. So that is what we mean by pan India competition. People will be just needing to join online, and the matches and everything will be happening online only. So yeah, so you'll be having competitors from all over India.
So someone
And
has a
there's,
question regarding the color of balls. Can
yes,
we use white
so
and blue balls?
correct. So I think the color of the balls is not really significant as long as there are two separate colored balls and
Yes.
it's kept in that order as we have prescribed. That's, I think, really not the issue for the color of the balls. There's one more interesting question. I'll just get it on the screen. Yes, I think, sir, you can take this one. You can help the
Which one?
maker with this one. I have pinned it on the screen. How to make, I'll repeat the question for you. How to make the line follower and the Bluetooth servo motor together in one Arduino? I think he's asking for the answer, but you can just highlight the key points, I guess, what needs to be
See,
done
the
for that.
moment you use an Arduino, everything depends on the code. The sensor is the same, the
Yes,
servo motor is the same. Everything depends on the code. Okay, now how to make line follower? You already have the answer for that.
yes,
If there is line, you are moving away from the line. When there is no line, you are moving towards the line. So that is as simple as that. That is for one sensor line follower.
correct.
Okay. Bluetooth servo is something that you are controlling externally. So whether it is in the form of an app in your Android device or some other thing that is sending Bluetooth signal,
Hmm.
and that is triggering the servo motion.
Ah,
Okay, and since both of them are happening with 16 megahertz speed, which is your normal clock frequency for any Arduino, you will not see any delay or lag that you are pressing the button now and the servo is reacting after some time. That is not going to happen. So
mhm.
you can just write a normal code and include the uh, servo motion control. Let's say you are defining when I send A, the servo moves left,
Ah,
and when I stop sending A, the servo goes back to the original position. So
correct.
the app should be like that. You cannot send two different
Yes.
signals for two different positions. The app has to be a momentary
Okay.
behavior. That is, when you're pressing a button, the servo
Ah,
moves and stays there. When you release the button, it has to go back to the home position. This will
okay,
make it more
momentary.
maneuverable and more precise instead of keeping two buttons on the app, one that moves it
Mhm.
left and the other that moves it right. So when you
Okay.
lift your finger, it automatically sends a signal and the Arduino takes the servo back to the home position or the original
Original
position.
position. Yes. So in fact, the point you're highlighting that it should work like a button blocks basically. So it should, whenever you're
Yes,
pressing the
yes,
button, it should
yes,
get triggered, and whenever
yes,
you're releasing the button, it should come back to its
exactly,
original position.
exactly. So as long as the button is pressed, it goes to a particular position that is your shoot position. And when you
Yes.
lift your finger, when you release the button, it goes back to the home position.
Yes. In fact, I think this gets me to another point, another important point that
Mhm.
basically dragging the balls, like just keeping the servo on one side and dragging the balls, even that is not allowed. So you have to get the motors, get the servo back to the original position.
Yes.
Just keep that thing in mind.
Yes, and the
Okay.
same thing, the same concept that we were using for making the robot faster as a line follower, the same applies here. When that
Yes.
shooter
Correct.
is not hitting the ball, the
Huh.
rest of the time is a total waste. Remember that. Keep that in mind. When it is
Correct.
in air and not touching the ball, that
Hmm.
is the time wasted. You have to minimize that.
Correct.
So the
So,
delay between the
yes.
sweep motion, the amount of delay that you put in between the sweep motion, that is very
Hmm.
important. But obviously, that is not at all a worry when you are using a ready-made servo block from Witblox. But if you are using
Huh.
Arduino, you have to take care of that.
The delay part especially. That's
Yes.
a good insight. Arnav has asked a very important question. In fact, Arnav is one of the first makers of the Kickball challenge. So congratulations, Arnav. You got a special reward of 1,000 bitcoins from our side for building the challenge first. Now, Arnav is asking a very relevant question, which I think we highlighted in the first part of the video. Is there any cash prize on this? So Arnav, there are definitely going to be cash prizes, but it's going to be in the competition, which is happening in just about 15 days. So be ready and keep your robot ready for the competition. Okay. And once you are ready with the robot and once the competition starts, the cash prize part will, you can definitely take advantage of that. Okay. So, but keep on improving your timing because
Now since
there are a
we
lot
have
of,
just told that you can control the trigger mechanism remotely, now people are getting interested. When will the Witblox RC kit come in stock?
1 second, let me put up that question. Yes. Do we have a response for that? When will the Witblox RC kit come back in stock? But I have a response to that. The RC kit is a little still in development,
RC kit is
but
the one with TX and RX, correct?
yes, correct, TX and RX. But I think I forgot his name. But just to answer your question, it is basically the same. You can actually use a Wi-Fi based mechanism also. Wi-Fi based mechanism is already available and you can check it out from the store immediately. In fact, there's a special product which is just made for this challenge where Wi-Fi and servo, the combo is available for a special price. So I think you should definitely check that out, and that is something you should consider if you're checking out for this challenge. Okay, so that is something you should be looking at. Means people. There's one more question. Means people that are not part of Witblox. Yes, it could mean so. The challenge objective should be met. That is what is important. So Witblox community is our primary focus. So primary attention will be given towards Witblox first. Okay, and then we'll have a look at the other ones also. If they are following all the rules and condition, then they'll be considered for the competition. Age limit, we don't have this thing right now, but it should be up till around 11th standard, I think. So does that make sense? About 16 years or so is
As
a
long
good
as
limit,
you are in
right?
school, you are a valid participant.
Yes. So I think even some people call 11th and 12th as school also. So I think we'll put a prescribed limit of around 16, I guess. That would be good.
We are ready to accept applicants till standard 12th. That much we can do.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. We'd love to see. In fact, I think if bigger kids come, I think the fight will be really about the time. Like even microseconds, there'll be lots and lots of fight. In fact, I remember from RBC that points of seconds made the prizes were decided.
Yes,
So I think
it
20
was so
point
interesting. Yes,
something.
highly
Correct.
competitive.
Very highly competitive. And in fact, if you saw people who were actually progressing further, they were actually not complicating their minds with many Arduino and many complications. They're actually pretty simple and they're focusing on the target first. That was one
Yes,
observation I had. So
that is true
practice is
for anything.
important.
That is true for anything. The less number of parts you use, the simpler the mechanism, the more reliable it is going to work. The more number of parts you use, the reliability becomes lesser and lesser.
Lesser and lesser. Yeah, truly said. Perfect. So I think now let me just have a look at is there any other audience question if you have missed? And I think speed part we have already touched upon. Does the accuracy also matter, Amit sir? Like when we are making this particular challenge, will the accuracy also matter, or it's not something we need to look into? Any thoughts on that?
Accuracy, ultimately, accuracy gets down to sensitivity. Okay,
Correct.
let's say you have a 1 centimeter wide black line. Okay, if the motor that you're using is too fast,
Hmm.
even if your sensor is very sensitive and very precise, your robot is going to overshoot the line because your
Okay,
motor speed is way too much fast.
got it.
Okay, so the
Hmm.
trade-off is between how fast your motor should be, okay,
Hmm.
compared to how fast the signal reaches from the sensor to the motor driver. That is ultimately the precision of your code, if at all you are using an Arduino.
Yes.
Second thing, that the uh, physical stability. Now when I say physical stability,
Hmm.
if you have put the wheels, the left wheel and the right wheel, the distance between the left wheel and the right wheel is way too much.
Huh.
Slight difference in speed is going to make the robot way too much wiggly. So you have to minimize the distance between the two wheels to reduce the
Hmm.
zigzag.
Okay. Distance
Okay, now
between the two wheels.
how
Okay.
distance between these two wheels is placed? The robot center is the exact midpoint between the line that is joining both the wheels.
Hmm.
The farther you move away from the center point, a
Ah,
small change is going to be reflected as a big change as far as deviation from the line is concerned. So when you keep the
correct.
distance between the two wheels minimum, even
Hmm.
with a lot of wheel motion, you are going to reduce the zigzag, the overshoot from the line. So the distance between the
Correct.
two wheels has to be minimum.
Nice, nice. So, in fact, now we'll actually go on to the audience question also. But one question I had in mind. So basically, they can even think about different structures also. Structures which can, let's say, reduce the weight of the. So does the weight also affect? Is what I'm trying to ask. Does the weight also contribute of the overall structure?
Weight, because there's no payload in case of a line follower. You're not carrying anything. You just have to
Hmm.
carry the robot's own weight. Okay.
Correct.
So the weight of the robot is not going to play much of a role. But if
Uh-huh.
you're using high speed geared motors, let's say the normal
Yes.
one that we are usually recommending is 150 rpm, that is available from Witblox. But let's say you
Correct.
are using a 300 rpm motor, and you are
Mm-hmm.
using some other circuit
Powers the motors.
which powers the motor separately.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that is the case mostly when you're using an Arduino. They have a separate motor driver board to drive the motors, and the logic
Hmm.
signal, the input and output signal, comes from the Arduino to the motor driver. So in that
Correct.
case, you have to keep in mind that if your robot is too lightweight, the power from the motor, the power from the wheel, is going to put your robot in a wheelie condition, and then it will topple.
Okay.
Why?
Got
Because
it.
your robot is not heavy.
Hmm.
It is easier to be tilted and then toppled, and you are using
Huh.
heavy duty motors. Okay, so when
Huh.
you're using high rpm motors which are trying
Hmm.
to propel the robot forward in too short time, this is exactly what happens when you let's say you're starting a motorcycle, you put it in the first gear and suddenly
Huh.
accelerate, your front wheel goes
Okay.
up.
The thing happened.
Right, the same thing will
Happens.
happen if your robot is too lightweight
Hmm.
and you're trying to accelerate very fast.
Correct. Correct. Okay. So I think this precaution they need to take with the other motors. This will not usually happen with blocks. This thing. That is what you're saying. Okay.
No, it is not going to
Um.
happen because Witblox, the motors are powered with the same 5 volt that is used by the sensor, the motor
Sensor.
driver, and all the logic circuit.
Correct. That's true. So I think now one question has come towards the price, which is
Huh.
the AI chat blocks. Please tell more on the AI chat blocks. And this is being asked by Neil. Okay, so let me answer it, and I think Amit sir, you can add upon that. So basically, now we have ChatGPT and all these things which are coming in the market, which are basically like a software version. Like you open a tab, and if you ask something, and it gives some response. Okay, but I think in case of the AI chat blocks, it's not just visual or it's not just on software. The AI can talk to you, the AI can interact with you almost like an Alexa. Okay, so that
It's
is
a
the
Witblox
power which
version
you're
of Alexa.
Witblox version of Alexa. I'm sorry. So we are think yeah. So that is something we are working towards, and the interaction is what we are going for. So not just you talking to AI in like a small computer tab, but AI also interacting with you. So something like AI will tell you, "Jaldi utho," yeah, like wake you up in like a scary way, I guess,
Yes,
or
yes.
many things like that. So the interaction will happen on a daily basis where you can talk to the AI, interact with the AI in like a real time.
And you can also set a lot of things according to that. Let's say you have defined certain words that you want to use as functions. So
Huh.
whenever that words comes into whatever you're saying, you can get that particular function done just by voice command.
So stop can mean that okay, all lights or something like that. You mean to say, or
Yes, it depends how you are using it. Let's say you have added a buzzer block and a lamp block.
Huh.
So if you say something that has the word lamp and the lamp is already off, you can turn it on
Okay. Nice.
like that.
So voice interaction can also happen
Yes,
that way.
yes. So just the way you
Nice.
tell Alexa that Alexa turn this light off, do you have a smart light bulbs and all?
Yes.
A very similar analogy has been used in that. So you can turn different output devices on and off just by voice command.
Perfect. Perfect.
And since it is a
Uh,
conversational AI, it
hmm.
also responds to generic topics. So let's say you want to uh, ask how many
What's
moons does Jupiter have,
nice. General
right?
knowledge.
That's not something that you expect from a robot. Okay, but
Hmm.
it's rather a generic question. You expect the internet to know the answer to this question. So
Correct.
what AI chat block does, it fetches the answer from the internet and produces it to you in the form of audio.
Okay. Nice. So you can basically revise your GK and basically current affairs
Absolutely.
and
You can even ask for the recipe of chicken biryani. It will tell you.
nice. That's actually cool, and I think the interaction part will definitely add a very big element of this in their daily life, where they can set reminders and ask questions on the fly, like okay, what is this, etc., etc. That's actually pretty cool. People are even asking of the price. So price part, we'll definitely. So we are definitely planning a launch for it. When it will come and what will its price be, we'll reveal more details soon. So stay tuned for that. In fact, we'll be doing more of these lives on the channel. So press the notification button definitely to keep up with the updates. And last question, I think like one more question has come. Also tell on the logic blocks. So logic blocks is coming. I think it's almost ready, and we are actually doing some projects. It should be out pretty soon. The launch video of the launch session of it, we'll be announcing it very soon. Okay, maybe in one of these sessions only we'll be coming up with that also. So stay tuned for that.
Have we shown them any photos or images that how
The logic
these
blocks.
blocks look like?
The logic blocks, I think we have not shown them a photo. The AI chat blocks we showed them today. One photo of that.
Okay.
So yeah, the logic blocks. So basically, the function of it, I'll just explain it in a brief manner. So earlier we used to have and, or, not. All these things we used to do it separately with the help of separate blocks. But now we have such a blocks which can do all of these things under one blocks. Depending on what you want to do, it will do all of these things within just one blocks, and you can enjoy all the features of all the blocks within the one blocks. So all the logic blocks in one place, basically. That's the that's the intention of the logic blocks.
We have functionality of multiple logic gates all in the same block.
Yes, yes. And even basically you have not just inputs, you have outputs also as it goes. But yeah, that's about the logic blocks, and we'll be coming up with projects for that also pretty soon. So yes, that's about it. Yeah, thank you so much. Neil has written that it is a great blocks. It will it will change with blocks.
It
Thank you
will
so
change
much.
with block.
Okay. So now I think questions from my side are almost done. Do you have any last tips or something which you want to share with the makers? So these makers are people who have seen the challenge today, who are actually excited to take the next step. So what are like one or two tips which you want to just share with them before they start? Anything which comes to your mind.
I'll just say three things.
Okay.
More number of sensors is not a solution. Thing. Second thing,
Mm-hmm.
completing the task with precision is far more important than completing it sooner.
Okay.
So, when you want to race towards higher speed motors, remember that they will cause trouble when the robot is working. So, don't aim for higher RPM motors. Focus on not repeating, because if you overshoot it, you'll have to go back to the original position. Again, start, again
Mm-hmm.
overshoot, again go back to the original position. So, instead of keeping doing that, use a
Mm-hmm.
decent RPM motors recommended by any of the Witblox motors that we have recommended, that is 150 RPM. I'll
Mm-hmm.
say never go beyond 200, because then you get speed. It is good for a racing car, not for a line
Ah,
follower. The
Got it.
third tip is keep the distance between the two wheels minimum, as less as you can keep.
Okay. Hmm. That will again help with the functioning of the robot also,
Yes,
as
yes.
you highlighted. Wonderful. So I think we had some very interesting questions also. Like, is a two sensor one useful and should it be used? Arduino one, should they be used or not? And we had some very cool tips about, like, how a beginner should start with this line follower. So I thank you, Amit sir, on behalf of the entire maker community for sharing your insights. And I think it's actually pretty cool that people have a very good head start. If they just have a look at this video, they'll have a very good head start for this challenge. Just they need to have a look and need to note down the insights. So
And
thank you
I
so
just
much
want to
again.
say one more thing. Students, to me, over the years, they have kept asking one question again and again, and most of them ask the same question:
Huh?
how making a line follower or learning how to make a line follower is useful in any way when we move ahead in life.
Sure.
Today, at least for last 4 or 5 years, I
Huh.
have been giving them the same answer. If you have ever ordered anything on Amazon Prime, the
Mhm.
material that you have ordered has been inevitably touched by a line following robot
Okay,
without
that's
an
a grand
exception.
statement.
Anything and everything that you have ever ordered on Amazon Prime has been at some point in time touched by a line follower robot, because these are the robots that are used by Amazon warehouses inside those huge fulfillment centers.
Yes.
So each of these fulfillment centers are the size of around uh, 6 times or 8 times of a standard football ground. So they are that
My
huge.
God.
They are all
Huh.
covered up by these line following robots. The only difference is they don't have one or two or three sensors. They have an array of sensors, because they have to move around not on single lines. They have to move on a matrix, something like a graph
Hmm.
paper.
Hmm.
So every position. So
Correct.
let's say you're ordering a packet of chips and a packet of soap.
Huh.
For the robot, packet of chips is some coordinate and packet of soap
Huh.
is another coordinate.
Another coordinate.
Where the robot is currently, from there it has to go to the chips coordinate and soap coordinate. It has to follow a graph. So again, graph is nothing but an
Yes.
array of lines, so arranged horizontally and vertically. So if you have ever ordered anything on Amazon Prime, ever, your material has been touched by a line follower.
I'm sure, I think many of the audience members have that experience of doing that. So, in fact, what you're saying is basically when they'll make this challenge, they'll not be making some very concept which is not existing or not used in real life. In fact, this is something which is actually used in a daily life perspective.
Yes,
It's
whether you are
actually
able
being
to
used
see it or
a
not,
lot.
you have been touched by a line follower in one way or the other.
Yes, yes, correct. That's a very that's actually a grand statement. You are making something which is currently present also, and you're building your skills for the future also. So I
Yes.
think that is one good summarization point. There's one more. There are few questions, and I think after that we can wrap up the session. How many servers is good for the robot? So I think one question we had last time also. Shall I use two servos? I think Neil was interacting with me last time. He had this idea in mind. Shall we use two servos also? So any thoughts on that, sir? Is two servos a better idea? Because I think they are placed on two different places, right? The colors. So is two servos a good idea, or it's like it
See,
could be a disadvantage also?
if someone is making their own program using Arduino, then using two servos will make sense, because controlling servos in a moving robot becomes
Huh,
very difficult, because the motion part is automated and the servo motion is controlled.
correct.
It becomes very difficult to sync both of them together. Okay, so that,
Servos, yes.
yeah, sync both of them together. So that becomes
Hmm.
pretty difficult if you are not using an Arduino. If you are using an Arduino, the best thing you can do is, when you're shooting, stop the robot, shoot, and then move ahead.
Okay. Stop. Okay. I think that's
Yes.
one more point of insight you're mentioning. So considering a stopping part also.
Because when we are saying someone that you have to make a line follower, it is not at all compulsory that your robot cannot stop. It should keep behaving as a line follower, but if needed, you can definitely stop. But there should be no user interaction. This entire thing has to be automated.
Got it. And again, I think the time part is also of essence. So you cannot stop for a very long time and just try to aim at the ball.
Yes.
That's also pretty important. In fact, I think that part, the stopping part, plus the kicking part, is something we are going to cover in the upcoming sessions. So 8th of July is something you guys should tune in, because that is something we want to cover in the future session to help you more on that part also. So be ready for that and get your questions for that. We have one more question. In rescue robot Witblox is referring to the previous challenge. We send a how to make video for the challenge. Will Witblox send it for the kick the ball challenge? So Neil, we are not currently planning to make a how to make this thing video, because almost all the important elements from the line follower to the field to the kicking mechanism, they have been touched upon in some way or the other. But we'll be keeping on doing these live sessions where me and a person of R&D team, the research and development team, like Amit sir, will be there to help you and will be there to further guide you on these smaller aspects. So you can try it out in the week and come to Saturday, come on Saturday to us with your doubts. How can we better this? How to improve this?
Yes.
Or how to correct this if something has gone wrong. So this is what we are going to do more and more. You can come in these sessions and ask your doubts. Okay, so I think that we are definitely planning on doing.
Yeah.
And someone says Hitesh has said that means it is useful for logistics. It is used in a lot of areas apart from logistics also, but logistics is a live daily example. It's currently being used to do some of those tasks. So yeah, that's there. So again, on behalf of the maker community, I thank you a lot, Amit sir, for joining today's session. In fact, I would love to have you for the further sessions also, because this kind of an interaction, I think the insights which are there from today, a lot of knowledge, a lot of insights will be very useful for the challenge also to all the makers. So again, thank you so much to all the makers who have joined today for the session, and keep joining us for these kind of sessions, because you will also learn, and from your doubts we will also learn. This interaction should keep going on. Okay,
And never stop
so
asking questions. The better questions you ask, the better person you become.
yes, in fact, in today's live I had a lot of questions. I'm actually pretty happy that people were not just looking to listen, they were actually wanting to interact and get to know more. So thank you so much all the makers also for joining us today. Bye guys.
Thank you, everyone.